Welcome to Remote Video Technology in the Courts, an informational webinar produced by the Outreach Subcommittee of the Judicial Council's Court Technology Advisory Committee. This webinar is an overview of an introduction to remote video in the courts. We will review the basics of a video conferencing solution along with the rules of court and statutes that apply to remote video. We will also provide case studies illustrating the various uses of remote video in the court. We hope this information will inspire you to explore ways to deliver or expand video conferencing in your courtroom. Let's start with the quiz. When was the first video hearing held in the California Judicial Branch? 1983, 1993, 2003, 2013. 1983. Remote video technology has been in use in California for 3 decades. The current climate in the California Judicial Branch necessitates that we do more with fewer resources in the courts. Demand for innovative technology and cost efficiency is on the rise. New technologies should advance and expand access and participation in the justice system. Permitting video appearances when appropriate provides improved access to justice, flexibility for parties, and cost savings. Let's review some key milestones and statistics. In 1983, the first video arraignment pilot project was held in Sacramento, San Bernardino, and San Diego counties. In 2011, a pilot program using sign language remote interpreters began with 14 counties. In 2013, Fresno became the first county to initiate a remote video proceedings pilot program for traffic infractions. Today, more than 20 counties use video arraignments. 38 counties use video conferencing for court hearings, according to a 2012 AOC survey. All 58 counties have used some form of video conferencing in hearings or court administration, such as trainings, meetings, human resources events, or self-help. Video conferencing uses real-time audio and video to bring people at 2 or more sites together. Today, with quality up and costs down, video conferencing implementation is on the rise. Video telephony, video conferencing, and telepresence all represent different levels of technology. Telepresence systems are a newer, more advanced technology, allowing a person to feel as if they were present in the room. Video conferencing is used in all aspects of court business, including pretrial, trial, and court administration. Here are some typical courtroom settings for remote video in the courts. During pretrial, video conferencing is used in motions and arraignments, oral depositions, and settlement conferences. During a trial, courts are using video conferencing for remote adjudications and testimony, to conduct traffic cases and parole hearings, and as part of providing interpretation and translation services. Finally, video conferencing is also used in appellate review to conduct oral arguments and settlement conferences. All uses of video conferencing are subject to constitutional and statutory limitations. With the consent of the parties, courts have sometimes permitted witnesses to appear remotely to provide testimony. Remote testimony is a better method of appearing than a pre-recorded videotape deposition because the live video allows for real-time direct examination and cross-examination of witnesses. Video appearances can save money for the parties, and it can allow for more flexible and efficient scheduling of testimony. As provided for by Penal Code Sections 977 and 977.2, remote video in criminal cases is used in limited circumstances. In 1992, Penal Code Section 977, subsection C, authorized video arraignments for misdemeanor and felony violations except for defendants who were indicted by a grand jury, and the statute put in place important protections such as an attorney's physical presence. The Sacramento Court Video Arraignment Program has been in use for 3 decades and has resulted in benefits to both the court and the justice partners. You will hear an overview of the program presented by Judge Larry Brown.
Give us an overview of the video arraignment program in Sacramento for Folsom inmates.
Certainly. For the past year, I have presided over the Sacramento County Prison Calendar, and that is held every other Friday morning in my courtroom, and we have approximately 25 to 30 cases on the calendar. And this involves inmates at Folsom State Prison who are now charged with committing a crime while at the state prison. And for the most part, rarely do I have any of the offenders physically in my courtroom. Instead, they all attend the proceedings by way of video conference feed up to Folsom State Prison.
Parole hearings. Penal Code Section 3043.25 allows victims, next of kin, immediate family members of victims, and designated victim representatives to appear at a hearing to review parole suitability or the setting of a parole date via video conferencing without travel to a correctional institution or court. Traffic infractions. The Judicial Council adopted new Rule 4.220 effective February 1st, 2013. With the approval of the Council, a Superior Court may establish by local rule a pilot project through December 31st, 2015 to permit arraignments, trials, and related proceedings concerning traffic infractions to be conducted by two-way remote video communication methods. Fresno County began the first pilot project in April 2013. A new pilot in 2013 showed how remote video proceedings increases access to the courts for rural court users and benefits rural law enforcement agencies. Fresno Superior Court began the first remote video proceeding pilot project for traffic infraction cases under Rule 4.220 in April 2013. The following is a short video clip of this program.
It's the first of its kind in the state and possibly the country. The Fresno Superior Court worked out a deal to have remote video proceedings in traffic cases. It's also known as RVP. Law enforcement says it's a step in the right direction.
That's definitely something that we needed to do.
CHP officer Mike Haig frequently travels to the Superior Court in Fresno to testify. It takes a toll on his vehicle and his time.
We have anywhere from 2 to 3 hours out of our shift just taken in response time out here and then to get back to area.
In 2010, 7,500 traffic citations were filed in urban court areas before the courts closed last summer. Drivers with citations who must travel more than 15 miles to the courthouse in Fresno now have the option to use RVP.
We thought through technology we could get back out into those areas, or at least have them stay out there, us stay in here, and accommodate those types of cases.
Juvenile. Senate Bill 962 was enacted in 2010. This bill authorizes the juvenile court to allow an incarcerated parent who has waived the right to be physically present at a dependency hearing or who has not been ordered to court to appear by video conference. The bill emphasizes the legislature's preference that parents physically attend dependency court hearings rather than limit that right. The Judicial Council amended Rule 5.530 in 2012 to implement the statutory grant of juvenile court discretion to permit an incarcerated parent to appear and participate in a hearing in a juvenile dependency proceeding in person or by video conference or telephone. Rule 5.531 establishes minimum standards for procedures governing remote appearances in a juvenile court. The order for prisoners' appearance at hearing affecting parental rights, Form JV-450, was revised to clarify options available to an incarcerated parent. Title 4-D, Rule 5.324, is intended to improve administration of high-volume child support hearings and conferences, improving parental participation by providing the opportunity to appear via video conferencing. Case Resolution Conferences. Rule 5.83, subsection D, directs that, on the court's initiative or at the request of the parties, to enhance access to the court, family-centered case resolution conferences heard by a judicial officer may be held in person, by telephone, video conferencing, or other appropriate means of communication. Remote video can offer many benefits to the courts. Remote video improves public access to justice by reducing geographic and transportation barriers. One intangible benefit is improved courtroom safety and security. Remote video can reduce potential liabilities for mishaps in transporting in-custody defendants and provide fewer disruptions of court proceedings. Remote video increases operational efficiency by providing flexibility in court calendaring and reduce wait times. Remote video can also reduce or avoid expenditures by cutting travel time. Witness appearances can therefore occur at a reduced cost, and interpreters can charge for the actual time of the call, which is far less than the typical in-person minimum charge. Remote video offers convenience to the court and to its parties, which potentially increases their participation in the hearing process. Video conferencing increases collaboration by allowing courts to maximize the use of resources and by connecting geographically dispersed participants. And video conferencing is eco-friendly as it reduces our carbon emission footprint. The Superior Courts in neighboring rural counties of Butte, Glenn, and Tehama saw that the volume of calls by self-represented litigants to court clerks was growing. To assist self-represented litigants, the courts joined forces in 2002 to create the Self-Help Assistance and Referral Program, or SHARP. The following is a short video clip of this program.
Judges and court administrators from all 3 counties formed a partnership to take advantage of technology for court users' convenience. They call it the Self-Help Assistance and Referral Program, or SHARP. They set up centers in or near courthouses across 3 counties in 5 locations. They've helped about 7,000 people since 2003. In addition to offering one-on-one walk-in procedural help like other self-help centers, SHARP offers more, like high-speed connections and video conferencing, which dramatically reduces travel time for users. For example, SHARP's managing attorney offers video conference workshops on a range of topics. During broadcasts, SHARP staff and litigants at the different locations can interact with each other.
What we're doing right now is we're starting a divorce action.
Are there children?
The seminars originate from each center on a rotating basis, so the presenter is the only one who has to hit the road. It's a very efficient system, on a shoestring budget.
There are 4 key areas that a court should consider to successfully implement remote video appearances. Those are the legal and fiscal considerations, the technology, the facilities, and the people and business processes involved. Next, we will talk about each of these in more detail. The most important legal consideration is the constitutional or statutory limitation. Some issues to consider. Are there legal obstacles, problems, or objections to the use of remote appearances in a particular case type or proceeding? Is remote access more challenging, not only technically but legally, for proceedings involving witnesses and testimony than for other types of proceedings? If so, should priority be given to providing for remote access to non-evidentiary proceedings such as conferences and mediations? The court should be prepared for the need for special procedures, local rules, and forms. Voluntary waivers of rights may be required from participants, and exemptions and exceptions for unsuitable cases should be carefully reviewed. Fiscal considerations. With regard to funding, there are some important questions to ask. Most fundamentally, how will video conferencing be paid for, particularly the startup costs? If video conferencing principally benefits a public entity, such as the Sheriff's Department, is that entity able and willing to pay for the service? Or are there other revenue sources such as grants or available fees to pay for the technology? In which case, how will fee waivers and other exemptions be handled? Ultimately, the initial and ongoing costs should be considered and planned for from the beginning. Seamless integration allows the technology to fade into the background. However, achieving this effect requires careful planning for risk mitigation from technology failure and obsolete equipment. Visual and audio issues, proper acoustics, and the ability to shift between multiple sources of content should be addressed effectively and guidelines put in place. The implementation must consider the security of the network, rooms, and video equipment, and sensitive information. Readily available technical support is an important element. Facilities. The remote space features and functionality, such as lighting, background in the courtroom, are crucial for a clear view. The video conferencing locations should be assessed and conform to the appropriate facility standards. Collaboration with multiple parties and executive support is pivotal to the success of remote video. When designing processes and procedures, it is important to define both the required steps and the expected outcomes. Users are more apt to accept a process when they understand the desired outcomes. Sometimes the inability to transmit documents between the court and remote locations adds more complexity and workload to cases. Users should be able to easily operate the equipment by following a specified set of procedures. Qualified personnel with audiovisual background might be required to run video conferencing smoothly. 14 counties participated in the 2011 to 2012 Video Remote Interpreting Pilot Program using American Sign Language interpreters. The program so far has reported high judicial officer satisfaction. It has also produced estimates of the likely annual cost savings to a court of about $125,000 for a large court such as Riverside. As a result of the pilot, the Court Interpreters Program has produced recommended guidelines to identify appropriate events for the use of video remote sign language interpreting. In 2004, 4 courts participated in a regional appellate division pilot. Lassen Superior Court was lead court. An important innovation that made this program successful was the presentation of oral arguments by video conferencing to allow all judges, attorneys, and litigating parties to appear from any court location. As a result, video conferencing improved both public access and the efficient use of public resources. The following is a short video clip of this program.
The four-court appellate project centralizes the processing of appeals to the appellate division of the Superior Court. The video conferencing aspect of the project really is a key component in saving judicial time.
We had an appeal in Modoc. For me to go to Modoc County, from this courthouse to the Modoc County courthouse is 165 miles. So it's a good 3-hour drive. So to sit there and hear an appeal for 15 minutes would take me 6 hours travel time. So I lose a day.
We've eliminated the lengthy travel requirements that take us away from other work that we could be doing.
This way, we set the appeal at a certain time. I go into the conference room over here, and I sit at the desk over there. We hear the appeal on video conferencing, and in 15 minutes I'm done, and I can go back to my court and finish up the rest of my calendar.
We've had great success, we believe, those of us involved in the project.
It's just a much more efficient and much better use of everybody's time.
When implementing a video remote technology solution, remember to be innovative. Think outside the box. Every court's needs are unique. One size does not fit all. Plan and implement a solution that fits your needs. Technology can be easy to use, but it can also be frustrating when it doesn't work. Have mitigation and contingency plans in place in the event of a failure. Collaboration of all parties involved and executive support is key to a successful implementation. Another important element is to leverage existing knowledge and technology. And most importantly, instead of an all-in approach, start small and build wins over time. For additional information on remote video technology, visit the Comprehensive Resource Center on Serranis and check back often for updates to that site or to provide your feedback.